All right, let's talk system design. It sounds huge and complicated, right? Well, we're going to tackle the whole thing by building a global empire, starting with just a single pizza. Let's jump right in.
I mean, think about it for a second. The apps you use every single day. How on earth do they handle millions or even billions of people all clicking and swiping at the same time without just crashing? It feels like an impossibly complex problem. So where would you even start? Believe it or not, that's the answer. We're going to forget about servers, code, and databases for a little while and talk about something way more fun. Because if you can understand how to grow a tiny pizza shop into a massive chain, you'll actually understand the core principles for building just about any huge system on the planet.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Our story starts in this little shop with one incredibly talented chef. And this chef, they do it all. They take the order, they knead the dough, they toss it, top it, bake it, box it. It's simple, it's clean, and you know what? It works perfectly. For a while. Word starts to get out. People love this pizza. And all of a sudden, there are lines out the door, the phone is ringing off the hook, and our one amazing chef, well, they just can't keep up. The very thing that made the business a success has created its very first crisis. There's only so much one person can do. So what now? So this brings us to the first big crossroads in any growing system. How do you handle way more demand? As the new manager of this booming pizza shop, you've really only got two basic moves you can make. You can try to make your current chef way more efficient, or you can hire some help. So option number one is what we call vertical scaling. In the tech world, this is like taking your server and swapping it out for a bigger, faster, more expensive one. In our kitchen, it means we're going to turn our chef into a super chef. Maybe we pay them overtime, or we get clever and have them prep all the dough at 4 a.m. when it's quiet. We're getting more output from the exact same resource. Okay, so what's the other option? Well, instead of trying to make one person infinitely fast, we could just hire more chefs. This is horizontal scaling. It's like adding more servers to your network instead of just upgrading one. So instead of a single super chef, we now have a whole team of chefs working side by side. And this right here really shows you the trade-off. Going vertical, the super chef model, is super simple to manage. It's just one person. But, and this is a big but, there is a hard physical limit to how many pizzas one person can make in a day. Horizontal scaling, on the other hand, can handle almost unlimited growth. You need more pizzas? Just add another chef. The catch? Now you've got to coordinate a whole team, and that introduces a whole new kind of complexity. So we did it. We decided to hire more chefs. The kitchen is bigger, we're pumping out more pizzas, but now, well, now it's kind of chaos. People are bumping into each other. So the next big question is, how do we get this new team to work together like a well-oiled machine? The answer, it turns out, is specialization. Okay, just picture this. An order for a pizza and an order for garlic bread come in at the same time. Now let's say Chef 1 and 3 are pizza wizards, but Chef 2, they make the best garlic bread in town. If we just randomly hand that garlic bread ticket to Chef 1, is that a good use of our talent? Of course not. We need a smarter system. So here's the smart move. We create specialized teams. All pizza orders go to the pizza team, which is Chef 1 and 3. All garlic bread orders go to the garlic bread team, which is Chef 2. This is way more efficient, and it gives us this other huge benefit. If we want to change the garlic bread recipe, we only have to talk to Chef 2. The pizza team, they don't need to know. They don't even care. And what we've just done here, this strategy actually has a name in system design. It's called a microservice architecture. You're taking one giant complex system and breaking it down into a bunch of smaller independent services. Our pizza team is a microservice. Our garlic bread team is another. And the beautiful part is, each one can be managed, updated, and even scaled all on its own. If garlic bread suddenly becomes super popular, we can just hire more chefs for that one specific team. Okay, our kitchen is humming along now. We're organized, we're scaling, business is great. But what happens when disaster strikes? Because let me tell you, in any system, big or small, things will go wrong. It's just a matter of when. Let's just hop in a time machine for a second and go back to our very first setup. Just one chef. If that one chef calls in sick, what happens? Your entire business shuts down for the day. You make zero money. In the tech world, that chef is what we call a single point of failure. When that one piece goes down, the whole system collapses. The answer to this problem is a powerful concept called redundancy. For a small-scale failure, like a sick chef, you could have a backup chef on call. But what about a real disaster, like a power outage that takes out the whole block?
your backup chef can't help you then. For that, you need a much bigger solution. You need a second, completely independent pizza shop somewhere else in town.
And just like that, by opening that second shop, we've built what's known as a distributed system. We're not putting all our eggs in one basket anymore. Now, if shop 1 has a flood or a power failure, no problem. We can just keep taking orders and making pizzas over at shop 2. The business keeps running. The whole operation is now what we call fault tolerant.
All right, having 2 shops is fantastic for safety, but it creates a really interesting new puzzle. When a customer calls to order a pizza, which shop do we send the order to? How do we make that decision in a smart way?
You're not going to make the customer figure it out, right? Of course not. So we set up one central phone number. When a call comes in, it goes to an intelligent router that in an instant calculates which shop can get that pizza to that specific customer the fastest, looking at all the different factors. Now let's look at the math our little router is doing. Shop 1 is super busy. There's an hour-long wait for a pizza, but it's close to the customer, only a 10-minute drive. Shop 2 is totally quiet, only a 5-minute wait, but it's an hour away. At first glance, you might think shop 1, but the router adds it all up and sees the total time for shop 2 is actually 5 minutes faster. So boom, the order goes to shop 2.
This super smart router, this traffic cop for our pizza orders, that's a load balancer. It is one of the most essential pieces of any big system. It spreads out the work so no single pizza shop or server gets totally overwhelmed. And it's always optimizing for the best possible experience for the customer.
This quote right here perfectly captures our last big idea, decoupling. Think about what this is saying. The chefs in the kitchen, their job is to make a pizza and put it on the counter. They don't care who picks it up. And the delivery driver, their job is to get a box from A to B. They don't care what's inside it. Each part of the system is separate and has its own single job to do.
Okay, let's zoom out. We've gone from one chef to many. We organized them into specialized microservice teams. We built in redundancy by opening a second shop, and we created an intelligent load balancer to manage all the orders. We've literally built a pizza empire, and in the process, we've laid out the exact blueprint for a tech system that can serve 1 billion users.
Now, it's really important to get this next part. Everything we've talked about today, deciding we need a load balancer, deciding we need specialized teams, that's all what we call high-level design. It's the what and the why. It's the architecture. The next step is always low-level design. That's the how. That's deciding the exact pizza recipe, what kind of ovens to buy, or in the tech world, that's actually writing the code. And that pretty much brings us to the end. We went all the way from a single pizza chef to a distributed, fault-tolerant, scalable system. And these ideas, they don't just apply to websites, they're everywhere. So I'll just leave you with this little thought experiment. What's the one thing in your daily routine, the single coffee machine, the one alarm clock, the only route to work, that if it failed would bring your entire morning to a screeching halt? What's your single point of failure? Thanks for joining me.